Hello random person, Jadeyboi here. Today in this video I'll be covering the bare basics of the create mod. Now the create mod, I love the create mod. I was not meant to say that. So today I'm going to be covering some bare basics of the create mod, and after this video I'm going to start creating a series discussing things like farms, automated mining, and all that kind of stuff. If this series even continues, because most of them don't, they should end up in me just not doing them. Anyway, so for our first topic, we're gonna discuss rotational power. Okay, so first up we have rotational power. And what is rotational power? So rotational power is when things go spinning. So I've got a pretty standard creative mode only motor. So you can't get this in survival mode. You kind of have to cheat for it. It's kind of like a debug thing. I don't know. But rotational power is measured in speed. So the faster you have something go, the speedometer will go faster. If you crank this all the way up, it freaks out. If you crank this all the way down, it goes really low. I'm changing the speed just by looking at the back of it and using my mouse wheel to scroll. Same way I'd usually do that. So the legit way to get rotational power is the first way, and the cheapest and easiest way, is by using hand cranks. So the way you do it is you look at a hand crank and then you simply hold down the right mouse button and then it will produce a little bit of speed, just like that. Next up, if you want to automate your rotational power a little bit more, so you don't have to constantly just be there all the time, you can use water wheels as one way of doing it. So the way I did this was I essentially just put one water wheel down right there, and I had a water source block there, and the water comes down and around, powering the water wheel, and because I have a series of them, makes it go really well. And so basically this runs at 16 RPM. Now RPM is revolutions per minute. So each time the water wheel goes around, counts as a revolution, and then RPM means that it goes around 16 times per minute. So the higher RPM, the faster it goes. Next up is the furnace engine and the flywheel. So basically, I got a little bit confused on this when I first started using the create mod, but the way you're supposed to do it is you put down a furnace, and you right click to place down the furnace engine, and then you place the flywheel one block away from the furnace engine. It should make these little rods. You can do it this way too, but it really doesn't matter. So the way you use it is you put something in the furnace, like coal, and it just starts moving. It's literally as simple as that. Next up is the windmill. Now, the way you make a windmill is quite similar to real life. So the way you do it is you place down a windmill bearing, and then basically build a windmill around it, and you need to use these special windmill blocks to do it, and then you right click it with your empty hand once you're finished with it. So basically you put it down like that, you construct whatever you want, and with your empty hand right click it and it will start moving like a windmill. Now as you can see, this goes very slow, so your best one would probably be the furnace engine. But this one doesn't require anything to use, you just have to build it and go. Now, yeah, please don't judge my building skills. I'm not a builder, I'm a modder, okay? But that's pretty much it for rotational power. So next up, we have Cogs. Now, you could use this as like a little contraption here that I've made. And basically the way this works is I get rotational power, this time from a furnace generator thing, and as you can see it is going quite slow. But if we use a little contraption that looks a little bit like this, so basically you have a big gear, little gear connected to the big gear, little gear connected to the big gear, and you get what I'm talking about, and that will make it go a lot faster. But the catch is, there is something called stress. So when you make a source of rotational power, i.e. this one has 16,000 stress units, it'll produce less stress right here. So yeah, basically that's what that does. So just imagine like you get your finger, right, and you put your hand over your finger, and then you twist your finger a little bit. That's how much stress this would be producing. But then if you twist your finger a lot, it's gonna hurt. Like if you put lots of pressure on your finger and just turn it, that is what that's doing right now, because it is trying to produce lots of speed for that. So this one's weaker, but that one's faster is weaker, but slower is stronger. So it's more like a tube. Pick which one you prefer. So kind of scenario. Now if you want your rotational power to go through shafts, and you want to make a 90-degree turn, you can do a little contraption that looks a little bit like this. So you have one gear there, and another gear there, and voila, you made your rod go 90 degrees. But for some reason, if you don't want to use cog and you don't want to go for the simpler option, you can use conveyor belts. And a conveyor belt works by getting this rod and basically making this rod turn along with it. And what's more, you can even put, oh my god, you can even put items on it. Oh my god, you can even put items on it. I said, there we go. You can put it from that end and go over to there, but I decided not to because that would make you bored and you'd click off of my video. Next up, we have Nifty Bits and Bobs. So first up for Nifty Bits and Bobs is extended pistons. Now these work a little bit like normal pistons. When these extend, they can push and pull blocks. But one thing with these pistons is that they can go pretty much as long as you want them to go. But you will need to make a little thing. So once again, you will need rotational power for this, but I've used a gear shift to change the direction of my rotational power, which, as you can see right there, will push and pull blocks. The regular piston will push but won't pull blocks. Next up we have the bell, which is pretty straightforward, just works like a normal Minecraft bell, I guess. Next up we have the cuckoo clock. Now if you attach this up to some rotational power, here, ticking. So the reason why this is ticking is because every in-game hour or every real-life minute, it'll make a cuckoo thing, and it is very annoying. Next up we have a fan, which I completely forgot to connect rotational power to, but essentially this will just blow air, and the faster you make it, the more air it will blow. So that's exciting. I'll just turn that back down a bit. Next up we have the, what's this? Rotation speed controller. So this works similar to what we've got going on over there, except with this one, you don't need to build a clunky thing, you can just do this. But same thing happens in terms of stress. It can turn something really slow to something really fast. But, of course, it will put lots and lots of stress on whatever you have going on here. Now, I guess this is kind of the end of this video. There's not much more I can really come up with of what to tell you. Once again, I will be continuing mod tutorials on this series. But that's gonna be it for this video. I'm Jadeyboi. Goodbye.